Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bull Central. Got another game review for you today. Another next gen game review. Ooh. This is Immortals Fenyx Rising. This is from Ubisoft. And it's an interesting game. It's an interesting game because it's from the team behind Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which came out a couple of years ago. I don't know if you've played it. If you haven't played it, that was an Assassin's Creed game that took place in ancient Greece. Though it was a realistic ancient Greece, and this is definitely a much more colorful, dare I say it, cartoony ancient Greece, but it's beautiful regardless. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the world building here. The world is absolutely luscious and gorgeous, especially on one of the next gen systems in 4K HDR. It looks great. But this game has had an interesting development cycle because Ubisoft Quebec created a game that looked similar to this, and they showed it off. But then they did some editing to it. Apparently, I mean, it's kind of a choppy, dicey story, and it became this Immortals: Fenyx Rising. And let me tell you something. What makes this game interesting is that it is a perfect love child of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Zelda. Zelda Breath of the Wild specifically, that awesome Nintendo Switch game that is still well loved and well played, and for good reason, because Breath of the Wild, it's one of my favorite games of the last 10 years for sure. Like it was a Zelda game to remember. It really took good use of that hardware of the Nintendo Switch. And let's be honest, none of these Western developers, especially for PlayStation or Xbox's sake, or even PC, how often do they really copy Nintendo? It doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen very often at all. Here's the problem, though. Some of the things like this, the little scouting thing that you used to do using the actual Switch and kind of using like an augmented reality thing where you actually had to move your body around, this doesn't work as well on a controller, and there's a lot of stuff that kind of doesn't work as well. The major thing here is that it's a game divided between puzzle solving and combat. The combat is very reminiscent of Assassin's Creed. It looks a lot like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It plays a lot like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Even plays like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the new Assassin's Creed game. And this is somewhere that Ubisoft shines, and they've always shown in this area. Combat is never the problem. But I gotta tell you, they don't have the Nintendo formula of brilliant puzzles and brilliant bosses down. Because one of the things that made Zelda Breath of the Wild so complete and so wonderful as a gaming experience was the diversity of puzzles, was the creativity of puzzles. And the combat was good too in that game. And the exploration was great. But I gotta tell you, like, as far as creativity goes, pound for pound, Nintendo has Ubisoft beat. There is diversity in the puzzles that you resolve, but look, it's like this. You'll see an arrow puzzle. You'll see a block puzzle. You'll see a ball puzzle. And it all really just revolves around picking up things and moving them for the most part and putting them on switches. And yeah, the configurations of all these things can get kind of creative, and they get really complex. That's another thing. Sometimes the puzzles are just like not even that much fun. I never had a problem with the puzzles in Breath of the Wild. Again, Nintendo knows their shit when it comes to creativity, challenge, gameplay fun, and balancing all of them. And I really think that Ubisoft, well, I'm of two minds about this. They should be commended for trying to make this work and pretty much succeeding. But then again, why is Ubisoft always ripping off other properties? It's crazy with them. They very rarely come up with something new. They even rip off themselves. I mean, how many games now are based in some way on an Assassin's Creed? Watch Dogs is based on an Assassin's Creed. This new franchise, Immortals. So the game is beautiful. The combat is fun, and you never really run out of having fun with the combat. The story is really, really great. It's told as if Zeus and Prometheus were kind of having like a chit chat, trying to bust down Prometheus's sentence, right? Because the poor dude is holding up the world. Is that right? Is that the right myth, dude? I am not up on my Greek mix. Put that away. Put that away. Prometheus stole the fire from Mount Olympus. I don't. Whatever. Okay, someone will correct me on that. Trust me. And it's really, really funny. The story is really, 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 really enjoyable. It's funny. And I mean that. The wit and the humor are all top notch. And exploration is really cool. There's a ton of stuff that you're going to be doing. But I got to tell you, you get to the end of this game, and it's kind of a long game. If you get to the end of this game and you're like, well, do I want to play the game plus mode? Yes, except for all the damn puzzles, which are subpar at best, most of them, and there's a lot of them. So while I can recommend this game, I can't recommend it as full-heartedly as I wanted to. Jeff Bull Central gives Immortals Fenyx Rising a 7 out of 10. I almost give it a 6 out of 10, to be honest. But I feel like it is so big and so lush and so beautiful that it at least deserves a 7. That's all. I'll study up on my Greek mix later. Hey everybody, this is Love, Madness, Demon. This is my latest novel. This is about hell versus heaven and a romance that spans generations of past lives, and I'm trying to find a new way of selling this book. And you get cake with it. Every copy comes with a slice of chocolate cake. It doesn't. I wish it did. I'd have a slop load of cake. And I don't.